Joe Girard, How to Close Every Sale. This edition was printed in 1989, and I'm telling you, this thing is full of gold. Massive action is what creates massive results. So get to work. Hey guys, Latif Kadri, the BDG Insider. Guys and gals out there, you know, I was going through some of my old books and old training materials and just kind of getting back to the basics. You know, I see a lot of stuff on Facebook where people are talking about, you know, I'm a new salesperson, you know, but I'm not getting much guidance from, you know, my management staff, or, you know, they just throw the manuals at me and tell me to go study the product before, you know, they'll spend any time with me. And I could feel the frustration through these people, you know, and I hate that. And I remember back in, you know, in like 92, 93 when I got in the business, you know, the first book that I got, and I'm so grateful that I hung on to it because it is still so relevant today, you know, 20-something, 30 years later, you know, the Joe Girard, How to Close Every Sale. This edition was printed in 1989, and I'm telling you, this thing is full of gold. You know, sometimes the basic way is the best way. You know, if you look at the marketplace today with all the sales trainers, all the people like me that have an opinion, you know, to share, you know, a lot of that gets convoluted and a lot of that gets lost, and there's so much self-promotion and so much, you know, upcharging and upselling and all this other nonsense that goes on out there. And I got to tell you, this book absolutely shaped my automotive career. And I didn't always follow the advice. You know, I made a lot of bad decisions. You know, I got engaged in the coffee club. I got, you know, I dipped out and went to lunch rather than taking the up. I have been at times, you know, guilty of prejudging the book, you know, by the cover, you know, and he talks about all that in this book. So, you know, I don't know what you're doing to sharpen your saw, whether you're, you know, you're just kind of randomly surfing the web, you're watching my stuff, you're watching Grant's stuff, you're doing Joe Verdi, you know, whoever you're doing out there, you know, you need to find your culture and stick with it. You need to find your basics, you know. And I'll tell you, the beauty about this book here is it's not just automotive related. It really relates to anything. You know, it talks about, you know, work ethic. It talks about, you know, some of the word tracks that are not just strictly, you know, the if I could, would you, but, you know, really helping you to identify the difference between an objection and you know, and a question, and really just kind of dialing in. And it really is a great book. And I'll tell you, you know, the late great Joe Girard was just an unbelievable guy. I mean, in the automotive world, he was the #1 salesman ever. And I know we've got some, you know, some great players out there today. You know, Ali Reda. I hear about him all the time from my friend Michelle with Dealer Dash, and you know what, he sounds like an absolute fantastic guy, and I admire him and his work ethic and what he brings to the table. But you know, I would never have had any measure of success in the car business unless I would have got this book. And I firmly believe that you need to find your culture, you need to find what you believe in, you need to find your foundation, you need to find your basics. You know, it's just like in any sport. You know, we always go back to the basics, right? You know, it's football, blocking and tackling, it's, you know, it's A plus B equals C. You know, we need to make sure that we identify that. So when I found myself in a rut, you know, I try to go back to the basics, and I'm so glad that I hang on to this book for so many years, because I'll tell you, you know, whenever you have a little bit of, you know, waviness in your productivity, you need to recenter, you need to get your focus back, you need to get your yin and yang put together, and that's where I'm at, going there. So I challenge you to find your foundation and really dive in. And I'll tell you what, I'm sure you hit Amazon, you can find this book all over the place, and I'm sure it's been published all over the internet, but I challenge you, you know, read the book. It's not a hard read. You know, it's really not a hard read. Believe me, if I read it, anybody can read it, all right? So read the book, find your foundation, get back to the basics, and go to work. This is the best time of year to be in the car business. I mean, any time of year is the best time of year, but let's face it, you know what? It sure beats, you know, being under 3 feet of snow selling cars. You know, we're getting ready to head into the spring and the summer season. Everybody feels warm and fuzzy about what they're doing. So let's get out there and let's sell like hell. Latif Kadri, the BDG Insider.